So what are you going to tell us about Japan today?
Something magical.
Ooh. Hi, welcome to Around the World with Joshua and Alyssa. Today, Alyssa is going to tell us some more about Japan as we get started, and I have no idea what it is, so I'm looking forward to it.
So, one of the fun things about Asia is that they have a couple different Disney worlds.
That's
and
right.
There's a Disney in Japan, not too far outside of Tokyo, and it's called Disneysea. Not as in the letter C, but as in S-E-A, because it's right on the water. So I'm going to tell you today about Disneysea. So here's my first picture from Disneysea. So because it's on the water, they kind of tried to theme and take a lot of the main characters from Disney movies that had to do with the sea or water or something. So any ideas what Disney character? You're not really good at movies.
Little Mermaid?
Yeah, good job.
Okay, I know that a little bit.
Okay. So this is like the Little Mermaid thing, and the cool thing is like you actually go inside this whole display, but it's really dark inside, so I don't have any pictures inside. But you can go in this, and it kind of goes underground, and then there's like activities, and there's even like little kid roller coasters and stuff underneath all of this,
Whoa.
like under the sea. Which is
Under
really cool.
the sea.
Yep, there you go.
Oh.
So I went with my friend Megan, who also taught kindergarten with me, and the day we went to Disneysea was raining and wet and cold, and it was Thanksgiving Day.
Perfect. That's what you want when you're in the sea is water.
I guess. It also was a holiday for Japan, so it was a very busy day to be there, but the rain kind of helped make it not be quite so chilly and terrible. I've been to a few Disneys, and it's really fun to see all the detail that they put into stuff, and this one was no exception. Like, it was really cool. So they had this whole area that was supposed to be like Ariel's grotto, and then you could move your way through, and then there was also a whole area that was themed after Aladdin, which was also really cool. And they have, one of the things that's popular for Disneysea in Japan is that they have these little stations that make popcorn that's kind of themed for each of the different areas. So they had like a curry popcorn over here by the Aladdin area that smelled so good. We didn't get any, but it did smell really good. And then they have this area, which is kind of like the American area, which is funny when you're over in Japan. And it had some different things themed, like a little village with that nice big boat out there and that tower in the distance that had a cool ride on the inside of it.
It does kind of look like America, though.
Yeah, that's true. If you think about the fact that this is actually in Japan.
Yeah.
This is walking down kind of like the Main Street area of the American. You can see that Statue of Liberty there on the left. And since it was, or little picture thing. And since it was Thanksgiving time, an American holiday, not a Japanese, they're getting closer to Christmas. So all of the Christmas decorations were coming out, and they were doing like Christmas themed stuff during the day. And had this really great big Christmas tree out kind of like in the middle of this American dock area. And I think they did a pretty good job of making it look like an American dock area. Like the little village and everything. And there were lots and lots of people there. Thankfully by this time it wasn't raining quite so much, but then that meant all the people were coming out. And being at Disney is hard work for everybody. Sometimes you just get really tired. So we were all gathering on this dock area, and you can see there's water out in front of us because the Disneysea is built right on water. And then they did a whole show that kind of tied together the water with the area. And since it's closer to Christmas, we got Santa involved in the whole deal. And it was really cool. I think most of it was in Japanese, if I remember correctly. So I didn't understand a lot, but like they had music there, and they did so many shows a day, so that's why there's so many. They only did so many a day. So that's why there's so many people packed around to see it, and they had different characters and boats that came out and things that happened through there. It's a very magical place. And it's really fun to walk around Disney and to see all the people. People watching, I think, is just about as fun as doing all the rides and everything. Like this little guy. So cute. In a little bear costume, just enjoying his time in Disney. And there was lots and lots of people that had matching outfits, like these ladies here. They all had the matching sweatshirts and were very excited to be at Disney together. And you could find whole families or groups like matching all the way, like shirts, pants, shoes, everything. These guys just had their matching shirts on, but you could find them everywhere. At night, when it was dark, then they lit up all of those Christmas trees and stuff, and they did a night show, which was also really cool.
Ah, nice.
So there's a giant Christmas tree on the other side of Mickey and Minnie over there. And then at that same spot where they had the Santa boat and the water and everything, they did a show with this Christmas tree that was huge. And I think it was kind of like an LED show. Like the tree lit up and had different designs and patterns on it. It looks like a
video screen picture.
But it was like a big tree and it floated on the water and all these different patterns and designs would come up on it. And then they had fireworks back behind it. It was really impressive. It was really fun though too, because then they had Christmas music playing to go with everything, which doesn't really matter if it's in English or Japanese, at least you can recognize the tune. And I don't know how much Japan actually celebrates Christmas, but they celebrated at Disney. So that was kind of fun. So that was my Disney Thanksgiving. And actually we did eat one kind of food there, and it was their version of those xiao buns. Those buns that have like the meat inside.
Oh, shou pao?
Yeah. But they had it in the Aladdin area, so they made it look like a worm. So the little buns were like bright green, like stripes on the side, so they look like a little inchworm, and they gave you like 3 of them stuck together. It was really tasty.
That's funny.
So it was a very unique Thanksgiving. I've never done Thanksgiving in another country quite like that, nor have I had inchworm rolls for lunch. But it was really fun, and I really liked Disneysea a lot. I like going to Disney's in other countries, so I still need to go to the one in Shanghai and Paris. So I'll have to put it on our list someday.
Yeah, I don't really care as much, but
they're so fun.
Okay.
Such a magical place.
We'll see.
Okay.
There's other magical places in the world too.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, well, I wanted to tell you some more about this story.
Okay, in the Philippines?
Yeah, good job, you remembered. About this real-life missionary in the Philippines and how he helped the people of the area. Do you remember the name of the people group in the Philippines? They're way up north, kind of a different name. It was the Isnag people. And I showed you a picture last time that is like right from one of their villages of the people and how they live on the river. They do everything right off the river, and they have their houses up on stilts. And then I told you that there was a missionary that went to this people group. Do you remember his name? It was Richard Rowe. And he went to go live with the people, the Isnag people of the area. And when he went there, he was the first white person that a lot of these people had ever seen. So they were a little bit nervous about having him in their village. And rumors kind of got traveling around. They had one rumor going around that definitely wasn't true, that he was going to eat little children. And so he had to stop that rumor and help them understand that's not why he was there. And it definitely wasn't the truth at all. And he decided the best way to get to know the people and get to learn the language and everything was just to be as much like the Isnag people as possible. So he lived like them and he ate food like them. Some of the food they ate was a little different, like grubs, which are like big fat worms, and rice. That's a little bit more regular. And they had lots of goat meat and fish since they were right on the water, and even some beetles. So what do you think about that kind of food? Would that be food you would be interested in? But he was willing to eat it because that was what helped the people see that he wanted to be part of their group. And so he did most of the things that Isnag people did, except for one thing. And that one thing was that he was not afraid of evil spirits. Remember, that was a really big problem for the Isnag people. They were scared that the spirits were always out to get them and they were always going to get in trouble, all sorts of things like that. And Richard didn't have to be afraid of the evil spirits because he knows and he knew the one true God. So a lot of times people would ask him, and he would say, I know the one Spirit, and I know the Spirit that loves people, that cares about people, and it's a Spirit that forgives. It doesn't cause problems, and it's a Spirit that wants to take care of you. And who do you think that Spirit is? The Holy Spirit, right? And the Holy Spirit does care for people, and he's not out to make their lives miserable under any stretch of the imagination. But the people didn't necessarily understand that. Well, one day when Richard was walking along, he saw a little boy crying beside a tree, and this little boy's name was Leonardo. Everybody in the village knew each other, so he knew Leonardo too, but everybody just called him Nard for short. So Richard stopped and he said, Nard, why are you crying? And Nard said, well, it's just so hard. We can never make the evil spirits happy. They're always upset at us, and we always have to be worried that we're going to make them mad in one way or the other. Before Richard could even answer him, Nard's sister called out for him. Odding, where are you? It's time for you to go to the jungle and get all the firewood for us. Did you get your chores done yet? Now Nard knew he had to get back to work again. Now, something unique about the Isneg people is that all the children had jobs to do. They all had chores. They were assigned a specific task, and they all just did them. That's what they were supposed to do. So some children had to go gather firewood, like Nard. He was supposed to go deep into the jungle and find all these little pieces to gather for firewood. Other children had to get water for their families for doing cooking, or they had to gather berries or go catch fish. And they all had jobs that they were supposed to do. But Nard didn't really enjoy doing all these jobs or working very hard. But he knew there was one way he could get out of doing all these jobs. The one way is when he got to go to school. Because then when he went to school, he had to be in school and he didn't have as much time to do all these jobs anymore. But the Isneg people had an interesting way of deciding when children were old enough and ready to go to school. And so finally the day came when Nard's dad said, okay, we're going to see, Nard, if it is time for you to go to school. So the test was that they had to take their left hand and they had to be able to reach it all the way over their head and touch their right ear with their left hand. And if they could do that, that told their village family that they were old enough to go to school. So Nard's dad said, okay, today is the day. Let's see what's going to happen, Nard. Let's see if you're old enough and you're ready to go to school. Nard was really excited. He reached up his hand over the top of his head, and you're going to have to come back next time to see if he made it and if he gets to go to school or not.
I knew that was going to happen. When I heard that part, I was like, I bet this is where it's going to end for today.
Isn't that kind of unique? Can you imagine, like, oh, so let's see if you can go to school or not. Okay, if you can touch your ear, then you can.
Oh.
Over your head. But I guess, like, kids have smaller arms and everything.
Yeah. I guess I've never thought of that before because I had no reason to think about it.
It's kind of unique, though.
Huh. Okay. Well, I think I'm going to have to ask the kids I know at church to try to...
see if they can do it?
Yeah.
You can try it at home, too, and see if you're ready for school.
Yeah. All right. So we are going to tell you today about some missionary friends of ours that are in Germany. Mm-hmm. We have told you about them before, and so we decided to get an update on how they're doing.
Yep.
And so, Alyssa, would you like to go ahead and tell us about Lucas and Bethany Snell?
Yep. So, I asked them some different questions about their ministry, and Bethany said that they returned from furlough in January of 2021 to a new location in Ingelheim, Germany, to join a church plant team there. So they've really enjoyed getting to know their new community. Judah, I think their oldest, started his first year of school in September and also got to join a soccer team. And Isaiah started pre-K and he's doing really great learning German. That's a great time to learn when you're little like that. Pick up the language a lot faster.
Yeah.
I asked if they had some ministry highlights to share with us from 2021. And their biggest ministry highlight is that their church in Ingelheim officially became a church in June. And nice. Luke was installed as the pastor. And they got to have a baptismal service the very same day, and 4 people got baptized.
That's cool.
That's really exciting for like a brand new baby church like that. Mm-hmm. And then in August, their Ingelheim co-workers, the Fletchalls, retired, and their new co-workers, the Metzgers, joined them. So kind of like a little transition time. I asked if they had anything unique that their area or their country celebrated about Easter, and she said they didn't really have anything unique. So that was a bummer, but at least we asked.
Mm-hmm.
And oops, I should show you this picture too. I think this was part of their transition time of Luke becoming the new pastor and some of their
Oh, yeah.
leaders leaving and being part of their new ministry. And then I asked what they were looking forward to this year, and she said they're having a Lego VBS. That sounds really fun.
That's such a good idea.
I know, right? So they're looking forward to their Lego VBS, and they need a bigger building for their church. So they've been searching for several months, and they're still looking for one. But that's really exciting for them. But they have a youth group coming to help them with their VBS, from a youth group from Minnesota coming out. So in June, they're going to do VBS and have some helpers. Here's a picture of their founding members of their church. That's pretty exciting. Core group of people.
Mm-hmm.
And so we asked them what we could pray for. So definitely pray that they could find a bigger building for their space. And they've seen a lot of great growth. So they said we can praise God for the great growth that they've had in some people that they've been working with and doing a lot of discipling. So that is their ministry and how they're involved in Germany. I'm excited and glad that they got back into it again. So we can pray for Bethany and Luke Snell and their two little guys and their ministry in Germany.
Cool.
Yeah. So maybe if you play Legos this week, you can think of them and pray for them.
Mm-hmm. And we might have to think about having a Lego VBS someday. So we'll have to see how those goes and see what things they did and how it worked. And
I figured you would like that idea.
well, you like that idea too.
Yep. Make sure you come back next week so you can find out if our little friend Nard gets to go to school or not.
Uh-huh.
And hear about another ministry opportunity and some more about Japan.
Yeah. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.